action up in double time. James analyzing every line. Paul's out of sync, but they don't care. Three minds tangled, but they're always there.
The future isn't big enough for both of them. Imagine a world with no crime, no swearing, no violence, a perfect society where everything is controlled and everyone behaves. Now imagine the worst criminal from the past weeks up inside it. And the only man who can stop him is the reason the past was so dangerous in the first place. This is Demolition Man.
Oh, I'm so scared.
I'm James. I've already written an essay on it. Paul has watched it in wrong order. And Colin?
I hadn't seen it.
How you doing, mate?
I have seen it now, so
Aye.
was that?
Well, I'm glad.
Yes. How are you?
I am pretty tired, mate, but we'll crack on. The podcast cannot die, mate.
Gives you a bit of adrenaline, doesn't it?
Aye. Right, the adrenaline's now past now, mate, so it is, and the tiredness is it. That's it.
No, I'll keep you going.
Aye. Right, okay. So kind of we'll start off with obviously welcome to the podcast on Demolition Man. Just a few shout outs before we get started. Well, first of all, we'll shout ourselves out. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Blue Sky with the Facebook pages as well. You can watch and listen to us on YouTube and Spotify. You can get us on Spotify for creators, Good Pods, and anywhere else that you listen to your podcasts. A wee shout out to our friends and compadres at What's the Script. Their latest episode, and I've nearly finished it now, but they've started, and you like this one, Colin, mate. They're doing the review on The Wolf of Wall Street.
I saw that pop up this morning. It's a good movie.
Aye. I've not seen it since the pictures, though, so a good number of years ago.
One of those long films that doesn't feel long; it just flies by.
Aye. I think it's because it's like it's about 3 hours long or something like that. It's quite a long film, like you say.
It's like a Titanic length movie. That.
Aye, but it doesn't feel that way, mate. Because when you're watching it, you're just laughing, like, so much, mate, through it and things like that. So definitely doesn't feel that way. So give them a wee follow and get them on. I think they're still on the old socials. They're talking about patching a few of them, but they're on TikTok and stuff anyway. So go and grab them and then give them a listen to. Craig went semi-viral actually during the week. He was telling me.
For what?
For his thoughts and comments on the Central Station fire that happened in Glasgow. So a wee moment of reflection for that. It's been all over the news and stuff like that. So give him a wee look see there, and he can. Yeah, he's right, but he's right what he says, 100%. Anyway, I go and follow them. You can also follow the Podpack Collective. There's a bunch of indie podcasters there. Go and listen to them through chats and Army. There's podcasters on games and all that stuff. So go and give them a wee follow too.
Just in terms of ourselves, we're on 259 subscribers now. And it's weird, we continue to rack up the subscribers the less we're recording, so I don't quite understand the algorithm there.
You know what, we'll keep it, we're happy with that, mate, do you know what I mean? But thank you for those who have subscribed. It's quite a big number for us, mate, over the last few weeks, mate, so thanks for doing that.
This is only our third recording of 2026, and it's almost the end of March.
I know, consider the fact that we are doing one pretty much every week, and life's getting away and we're busy and stuff like that, mate. Do you know what I mean? So
we're on the journey to 275. So I think we can get to 300 by the middle of the year. What do you think?
I think so. I think we've got going with the trajectory we're going in now, mate. It's possible. It's possible. So, excuse me. So yeah, we're going to get cracking into the Demolition Man review. So before we go into it, mate, obviously your tagline, mate, in every single podcast is near enough. You hadn't seen it. Had you heard of the film?
I hadn't heard of it, to be honest, until you chose it.
Aye. Well, I would say I'm shocked at that, mate, but it's yourself, man, and I mean no disrespect to that, mate. I mean I think you've lived a kind of sheltered life when it comes to movies, mate, to be honest with you. But
we've built a podcast around this, so
aye. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, mate, to be honest with you, because for me it was when when it came out, probably seen it. It came out in 1993. I probably saw it kind of in start of secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about maybe 96, 97 there. But aye, it's one that's kind of. I used to watch it all the time because I got it in DVD and I used to watch it all the time, mate. I hadn't watched it for a while actually, and I'm glad I picked it because it's just fun. I just really enjoy it. But we'll get into it then. We'll get into it. So a wee bit of details about the film. So obviously it's Demolition Man. It was released in 1993, like I said. It's a runtime of 115 minutes and it was a certificate 18 in the UK. I think with the violence and the swearing and stuff like that, it kind of had to be. Director was Marco Brambilla, or however you say his name. Writers are Daniel Waters, Robert Renew, and Peter Lenkov. The producer in this film was Joe Silver. I recognise that name, mate, and I did a wee bit of digging on him.
You're probably thinking of the guy at Cobra Kai.
No, who's that? Cobra Kai?
No, I'm just thinking of the guy, one of the baddies. Is he not called Silver?
Is that the guy with long hair?
Aye.
No, not him. So Johnny. See you in the Cobra Kai. Joe Silver. Joe Silver. So he did Die Hard, produced Die Hard, and he did Lethal Weapon stuff as well. So he was quite prevalent in the 80s and 90s, coming with action films. So comes no surprise that he's kind of popped up here as well. So that was that. So casting wise, you've got Sylvester Stallone as John Spartan, Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix, Sandra Bullock as Lena Huxley, Nigel Hawthorne as Dr. Raymond Cato, Dennis Leary as Edgar Friendly, and Benjamin Bratt as Alfredo, not Morelos Garcia.
Yeah, I wonder if you're going with that.
I said it. I thought you were going to jump in and say Morelos there, but so obviously the cast wise, mate, you obviously heard a lot of them, wouldn't you?
Aye.
Aye.
I've been known to dabble in a few of the Rocky movies. Sandra Bullock's actually one of my favourite rom-coms.
I was going to say that, mate. I thought the first name would be Sandra Bullock because you're at your rom-coms, aren't you, mate? So what rom-com is you?
I wouldn't say I'm into them as such, but as rom-coms go, The Proposal's actually a good one. It's her and Ryan Reynolds. You seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's good. It's good. They have to pretend to be married, and they go to like a family weekend, and it's a good one. But Sandra Bullock's good in what she's in. There's quite a few good references in here to popular culture throughout the movie as well. I'm sure we'll come to it.
Defo, mate. Defo. Box office wise, mate, it got a budget of 57 million. And it took in 159 million. That's dollars. And for the friends that put the script, that's US dollars. US dollars, man. So it took in it was a healthy profit there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it didn't do too well actually in in the cinema when it was released, but it's became a cult classic. So it's gonna take its money in that way. What else have I got here? It's just the studio was Warner Brothers, really. So,
So could
So
this be owned by probably Paramount soon then?
I don't know when the takeover is for that.
I was hoping it was Netflix, to be honest, because I don't know what access I suppose you can get Paramount in the UK, but
No, but is it Paramount? Actually, you said Netflix. Is Netflix not taking it over?
no, Netflix were in pole position, and then Paramount outbidded them like later on. So I think Paramount are in pole position now.
Right. Fair dues.
It's all a bit chaotic.
Aye. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, kind of going with kind of recent structures of our films, mate. I've kind of broken this up into different acts. And we'll kind of talk within the acts, mate. Of course, if I miss anything, man, I'm sure you'll jump in and give me your 2 pence worth. So it starts off in 1996. We've got kind of chaotic scenes. We've got Wesley Snipes, who's Simon Phoenix. He's taking hostages into a building, and we've got John Spartan, who's played by Stallone, in a helicopter, and basically he's trying to save the hostages, trying to apprehend Phoenix at the same time. I quite enjoyed this scene because as films go, there's kind of it doesn't really start off as a the way films usually start off. It's kind of flung like in the middle of something. It set the tone of the film, I think, in terms of how kind of mental Simon Phoenix was. But the Demolition Man, obviously, John Spartan, a wee bit kind of chaotic in his approach, and that's why he's nicknamed the Demolition Man. He's got one goal in mind, and that's to take down his enemies. Basically, what happens here is they go into the building, and the building explodes. So if you're kind of back and forth with him and Simon Phoenix, and he's unsure if the hostages survived or not. What was your kind of take on this scene then, mate? In terms of, again, for you seeing it for the first time, did it grab you, mate? Did it did it hook you?
Yeah, it does. It gets right into it, doesn't it? And you see like the Hollywood sign on fire, and as you say, you're just thrown right into the middle of some form of conflict. So it immediately throws to mind another film that we did was Dread.
Aye.
Yeah, but obviously totally different tone as well. What I find quite amusing when we do these films is you and Paul always start quoting to each other. So like as I'm watching the film, I'm like, oh, there's that bit James said. Oh, there's that bit Paul said, and I'm kind of picking it up as I go along, because out of context, the lines don't make any sense at all.
Yeah, we kind of do it on purpose, mate, don't we? Because we know you haven't seen the film yet, and it's like, oh, just kind of throw in a couple of lines for the film, and I know you'll be like, no idea.
The Phoenix character, I feel like it took me a wee bit of time to get, because he's just so like wacky, isn't he? That it could easily have went wrong if the rest of the movie hadn't kind of married up with that tone,
Aye. No, it was Simon Phoenix, mate. Yeah, it's hard not to like him, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because he's one-liners and his demeanour and the way he acts and stuff like that. It's you're not supposed to like him, but just because he's the satire and the way he plays the role, I think it's important. It's just that it's like, it's a serious film to a degree, but the way he conducts himself with the authority, and he doesn't really give a shit, do you know what I mean, about anything. That's good. In this scene, actually, there's a wee bit of foreshadowing in this scene, because he says, "Where's the hostages?" He goes, "Now where'd I put them? I swear I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached." And then John Spartan goes, "I'll keep that in mind." And then obviously later on in the film, things happen, but that was good.
I didn't quite catch that one on the rewatch, although I should have. But there was another bit. It was when he's jumping out the helicopter. He's saying like, "Send a
maniac, catch a maniac."
To catch a maniac, and he says that later on as well, doesn't he?
Aye.
When he gets out the freeze as well. There was one bit that Phoenix did that what I thought was the funniest part of the film. It's when he just shoved the guy full force into the glass and then said "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there."
That's later on in the museum, isn't it? It's not.
I thought that bit was funny. There was quite a few lines, and I think that whole bit where they get fined essentially for bad mouthing the government or just swearing in general or talking about spicy foods. I thought that added to the humor as well. When I was watching, I was wondering how many fines you would get.
You know what, mate? I was going to bring that up actually. I don't think I would do too well, mate, in the future society.
I think I'd be fine.
I think you would be fine, mate. You would be fine. I would be skint. I'd be skint.
It was funny just while we're on that. It was funny when he did it so he could get some toilet paper.
Yeah, and we'll come on to that scene, mate. We'll come on to that scene. There's a quote in this scene as well. It doesn't. It's just the way he says it. He's got the gasoline, the petrol everywhere. And he's got a blowtorch, and he says, "Be careful, kind of thing. I've got gasoline." And he goes, "I'll set your ass on fire." But the way he says it and delivers a line, it's funny. And then another line he says in this scene, it's "Is it cold in here or just me?" And then later on again that happens again.
That was one of the ones that one of you posted in the chat.
I think it was me that said that. Aye. But you got the reference eventually, mate. You're here now, and you're here to tell the tale. Yeah. Aye. So basically, what happens here is they get the building explodes, and then they get dragged out, and then they're asked about the hostages. Phoenix is grabbed with the police chief, and then Spartan thinks the hostages are all right, but in actual fact, the hostages were still in the building, and because of that, Phoenix is dragged away, obviously for his crimes and stuff like that. But John Spartan's also dragged away because he failed to, basically, in their eyes, he let the hostages die, and that was the primary mission, was to save the hostages. And he seemed to have, just went after Phoenix, and that was his goal, in their opinion. Do you know what I mean? So they both get kind of dragged away. Have you seen the Lethal Weapon films?
No, I don't think I had. No.
Will also make no sense to you, mate, anyway. But the police chief,
I seen the posters obviously in the office. Yeah.
Aye. Well, the police chief that was talking to John Spartan outside was the captain in Lethal Weapon as well. So you'll see him pop up and when we do Lethal Weapon at some point, because I'm sure we will.
Okay.
So they're whisked away to the cryo chamber, mate, because that's the punishment back in the day. In '96, you got frozen. What's your take on that anyway, mate? How do you feel about the consequence, the punishment of committing kind of crimes? Do you think, being frozen is, and then basically getting, as we find, kind of rehabilitated that way? What's your opinion on that?
Well, being frozen once you're frozen is probably better than being in jail as a starting point. Particularly if it is like a very long sentence, but it's pretty unethical, isn't it? Just like manipulating the minds of the prisoners, and the parole meetings are basically like a formality in the sense of they just bring them out and then just don't even give them a chance to speak really in most cases, and bring them back in, because there was no, I'm going to assume there was no trials or anything when they got frozen in the first place. It doesn't mention anything anyway.
No, but no, there's nothing like that. It just seems to be kind of judge, jury, executioner, isn't it? It's that way. It's, you know, they're just sent to that state. But Phoenix is rehabilitated, and then but Spartan is there not really to be, you know, put into rehabilitation as such. He's set in there as a punishment, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, but Phoenix would have been the same unless the doctor guy had plans for him. I didn't have a lot of trivia today, but one of the bits I found was that Sylvester Stallone said the freezing scene was probably the worst 5 hours he's ever had on a movie set, and that guy's been battered to a pulp in a ring, so that's saying a lot. Yeah, the quote finishes by saying he was terrified, and I actually get that. That was something I noted. Was I didn't enjoy watching it filling up with the water and the ice sort of thing. It made me feel really claustrophobic just watching it.
Aye, it'd be pretty scary, mate, isn't it? Though, and you don't like swimming, did you know?
I don't mind swimming, but I don't like jumping into like deep water.
Aye, I maybe saying something like that before, mate. Aye, so
it's because I wore these bad boys as a kid, and see if you went swimming and you wore glasses before contact lenses, you wouldn't be able to wear your glasses, so you'd be like just jumping into water like totally blind, you know.
If you wore glasses since you're young, then, mate, aye.
I think it was about 3, and then I got contact lenses when I was 14, and it's only in the last couple of years I stopped wearing contact lenses because they're expensive and they're hurting my eyes sometimes. So
I don't even know how you do it, mate. Like putting shit in your eyes like that, mate.
I did it for what, 15 plus years, but just anyway, it's quite expensive, and they can be quite uncomfortable sometimes. So now that I'm married with children, I don't really care what I look like.
Clearly, I'm joking, mate. I'm kidding. Right, moving on. So we digress there. It's
going to be a timestamp. The price of contact lenses.
The timestamps are quite funny, though, aren't they, on Spotify? Where were we? Aye, so we kind of move on then. The Frozen. And then we're into the future of 2032, which is not too far away from where we are now, mate.
Yeah, it's actually quite scary watching these films when this dystopian future is like 5 years from now.
Well, we did Running Man. I know you weren't on Running Man, were you? No, you were.
Yeah. I know, but it's weird, isn't it? Like,
aye.
But the thing is, they were a bit over ambitious about what the future would look like in a lot of ways. Like, I know we do have self-driving cars, we do have retina scanners, but the way the cars look, and I don't know, I think they were just a bit over ambitious about what the future would look like. But I did enjoy seeing the futuristic society they were portraying, and my favorite part of the film was probably the world building in terms of like the rules they established to like get rid of the crime and to set up their new society. I really enjoyed like finding all those things out.
Yeah. Aye. Because just talking on like dystopian futures and stuff like that. Escape from New York. Watching that film. Like we're way past that now, mate. Do you know what I mean? But Escape from New York was obviously horrendous, mate, in terms of what they thought it would be like. In a bad sense, not in a future sense. But aye. When you watch that, mate, you know what I mean. But anyway.
You need to stop asking me on air what I've watched.
Aye,
To be fair though, we've done almost 200 podcast episodes, so I've racked up a fair few on my IMDb over the last couple of years.
that's true, mate. You've on the path to
Look at
righteousness.
this way, I'm better than the other guy. Like, there'll be somebody in a worse position than me.
Oh, it's always something a worse position, mate. I've always said that. Right. So 2032, we've got like you say, mate, we've got a kind of a peaceful society, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's a clean, sterile, San Angeles, isn't it? It's no Los Angeles, it's San Angeles.
Yeah, so it was like
Um,
a combination of 3 different places, wasn't it?
yeah, I think they did explain that a wee bit because they had the big earthquake, didn't they? As well.
Was that before or after the franchise wars?
No, I know. What was it? We find that out after. We actually find that out, mate, when Spartan comes out. He's asking for his wife and that, and so they perished in the big one of whatever year it was. So life now. You mentioned it, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's no crime. There's no really need for police anymore, but there are still. There's no swearing. There's no kind of physical contact.
Was it fluid transfer or something?
Fluid transfer, as well, and you can't shake hands with somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of that kind of stuff.
Who shakes hands since COVID anyway?
COVID was a ploy, mate, for society to be like that, mate. I'm telling you, it was a ruse. Anyway,
Controversial.
Anyway, we'll move on from that political. The fines for language is funny. Like you mentioned it, mate. Do you know what I mean? That just is crazy, isn't it? I just can't imagine.
I agree with it.
Yeah, you would agree with it. That's because you're more I don't know, your grammar and you're really well spoken compared to me, mate. I'm just a boy from East End of Glasgow, mate, with no vocab, really, enter. So,
yeah.
It added a wee bit of humour, didn't it, to the film? Although, interestingly enough, though, we do get what's her name? Sandra Bullock, Lena Huxley, which I think I could be wrong here, and I've not looked it up or anything. But see the book, Brave New World.
This is
that was written.
That's where the name comes from.
Yeah. So it must have some kind of relevance to it. I've not read it or anything, mate, so I couldn't tell you.
I thought her character was really good, actually, because she's like the whole like hero's journey character. It was kind of her, wasn't it? Like she was the one that was seeking the adventure.
Aye, seeking the adventure, but she was kind of obsessed with the past, mate. Do you know what I mean? No, just like all the retro stuff, in the film, in terms of all the kind of nostalgia with the films and like cars and all that sort of stuff. But she's also interested and enjoyed, the kind of the violent nature of it all as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think when John Spartan came along, she was actually kind of like, she was also turned on with the fact that he was like that anyway. But she was just fascinated by his whole demeanour and the way that he acted as a police officer back in the day. You know what I mean? But she was an interesting character.
I had this weird theory earlier on in the film, because he mentions a daughter, and I thought that Sandra Bullock's character was going to be his daughter, because the ages could have matched up because he's been frozen, if that makes sense.
I know, aye.
So at one point I thought they were going to do that, but that's obviously not the route they went down.
No.
Unless he just doesn't know.
It'd be interesting doing that if that happened, what transpires. So we're introduced to the police in her partner as well, Alfredo, but can I move on in this act? You get back to the cryogenic facility, and Simon Phoenix is up for parole. He's just kind of standing, or and no change as such, but he's locked in anyway. He's obviously calm and whatever, but he's they go through his parole stuff, and then he says, anything to say, Simon Phoenix? And he goes, yeah, teddy bear. Now, watching this, I had no idea what teddy bear meant. What was the whole purpose of it all? I did a wee bit of digging on it. And it's a reference to how... Sorry?
It says, you're talking about like a deeper background and what it meant in the film.
Aye. So it kind of, deep dives, it kind of means that the future society, the adults are treated like children. And the children had teddy bears to keep them comfortable and all that, and the comfort. The adults now have that, and I suppose I kind of thought it was like a kind of key word back in the day, where like if he said teddy bear, it would unlock the kind of prison he was in, and then he'd take out the guards basically. But it was just something I thought, what does that actually mean? Because he says it again later on in the film, and it kind of didn't make any reference to what I thought it was.
Well, obviously, that part of the film, you don't know that Phoenix has had these like implants in his head, so like it just makes no sense at first. Like he just says it, and then the chair opens up. I have a question about what's the death kill strike? What is it?
Murder, death, kill, MDK.
Yeah. So like, is that just like different terms they use for like crimes that people commit, and they've like combined them together? Because they never really explained, or is it just like, is it part of like his programming, Phoenix's programming to like take people out, or
no? Because I think it's somebody dies, mate. My understanding is that somebody dies, then, but it's an act of killing somebody rather than somebody falling down off a building or something like that. So MDK, because they say the code comes up in the police office, the police station, and it's like, I don't know what that code is. What's a code 117 or whatever it is, and they don't know what it is. So that alone tells you that they've never had it before.
So it's just like an abbreviation that the police use, like how in like cop shows they'll use like numbers that mean something to them, sort of thing. Like, I wasn't sure if it was that or whether it was just like a specific thing that was implanted in Phoenix's head for his mission.
No. The code just got on the screen. They don't know what the code is. They had to go and look it up. It's MDK, murder, death, kill.
It reminds me of it's when you're doing your register and there's all those different letters and you don't know what half of them mean. I was given a bit of paper earlier in the year actually that tells you what all the symbols mean. I'll send you it.
Oh mate, I know some of them. Aye, you can't change any though. So aye, that's funny. But so he commits MDK because the first time they killed the guards, didn't he? And then, but he's get mad skills, isn't he? He's get martial arts skills and all that sort of stuff. And we never really seen that before, did we? Because we never really had the chance to, I suppose. So we didn't really know if he had these skills before or not, or do you know what I mean? So
what was it he said later? He's like, I wonder if I can play, was it the clarinet or something?
No, I wonder if I can play the accordion.
Accordion.
The accordion too. He's on the computer because he's a hacker as well now. Do you know what I mean? So he's got all these mad skills. So
it was funny that the only skill that Stallone got was the knitting or something.
Aye. But and cause he can't get the facility unless he's got a retina scan, and this is the bit where they anything to do with eyes, mate. I just can't go right. I'm glad they didn't go into too much depth with it.
Retina scanners are like in a lot of these older school sci-fi movies. Like, how long have retina scanners been around in like actual society for?
For a while, mate. No, it's biometrics, mate. So biometrics has been around for a while. talking about like the first time, like the one film I kind of show my class, well, no film, mate, but a scene from a film is Mission Impossible.
We use that as well, the sensors.
Aye. So
Yeah.
so in the room where they need to get the the dock list.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, we've used it with like our younger classes for like sensors and stuff.
Aye. So the knock list is in that sort of, so they use biometrics and finger scanners and face recognition and all that sort of stuff. But aye, so I obviously
the violence is pretty like PG on the whole, but there is the bit where he rips out his eye. He doesn't when he's putting it in the scanner.
Aye, puts the pen. He's like, "Be well." He just grabs the pen.
There was two. I'll just get them out of the way. There was two Simpsons references and one Star Wars reference in this film. So the first Simpsons one was Smithers. It wasn't a Simpsons reference, obviously, but there was obviously
I was about to say that.
The policeman Smithers, and then there was the bit where they're doing when they're because this is another time I've heard it was the Armour Hot Dogs song. Because they sing that in an episode of The Simpsons, and that's the only time I've ever heard that before. So as soon as it came on, I was like, I knew the words. And the other one was obviously
hot dogs.
That's a copyright strike. It was obviously the Luke Skywalker quote.
What was that one?
It was like use the Force, Luke, or something when they were playing with the weapon.
Oh, aye.
Alfredo was playing with like the sword kind of baton thing.
Yes.
So there was a good wee Star Wars reference and a couple of Simpsons, not Simpsons nods, but like things that I associate with Simpsons.
Yeah, because Simpsons, if you look at that, Simpsons reference Demolition Man, you know what I mean? So,
there's another link with the Simpsons was this film kind of predicted Arnold becoming a politician as well.
Aye. Well, there was a Schwarzenegger library, wasn't it?
Aye, but they said he was the president.
Former president, aye.
And,
so
Arnold was basically I'm pretty sure he was a president in the Simpsons as well. Or like Rainier Wolfcastle is basically
Schwarzenegger. He is
Schwarzenegger. He's the president in the movie, isn't he? Yeah. So
what I do find interesting about the Schwarzenegger films and Stallone films, because obviously they two had a big massive rivalry, during this time, 80s and 90s, of who's the biggest action star. And then if you take this film, for example, it talks about him being the president in the Schwarzenegger library, and Stallone basically saying that guy was the president, that guy was, and then if you go to like Last Action Hero, for example, we've got Stallone playing the Terminator in one of the kind of billboard and the kind of cardboard cutouts. So it's quite good. The kind of it's quite clever that way.
It's a friendly rivalry. It was hard to say. Harder than I thought to say.
Edgar friendly. Right, okay then. So basically, I forgot to say, mate. When they realised the MDKs were happening, they were going through the parole board and see who was up for parole. And then when Simon Phoenix came up, I can't remember the guy's name now, but the black guy, he's like, "It's Phoenix." And so he obviously knew,
because he was part of the crew in the first scene, wasn't he?
So he knew John Spartan back in the day, and then he knew Phoenix as well and what he was like, and so right away they knew who it was, and they could narrow it down. So with all this sort of stuff happening, he was saying, there's one man who could take him down. It was John Spartan, and they clipped up footage of John Spartan, dragging folk through the streets and stuff like that. And the captain guy, the baldy with glasses, man, he was so annoying in this, man. Hey, caveman. You know what I mean, man?
He gets called a caveman quite a lot, doesn't he?
Neanderthal and all that as well. Do you know what I mean? Because he's so different to society nowadays.
That was one of the quotes. It was like, what would you say if I called you a Neanderthal? There was other words as well. And he was like, thank you.
That's right. So they basically go to Cocteau, and just he's obviously behind all this, mate. Do you know what I mean? So he's obviously trying to keep a pretense up that do everything in your power to stop this madman, and then not realizing that Spartan, was the person they thought about getting him. So
he was the guy that created the prison, wasn't he?
Aye.
So it was his ideology to have a society with no crime and no free will.
Aye.
I liked the wee foreshadowing bits about the underground society when you see the graffiti can coming up and then just quickly being wiped away. I thought that was quite good as well.
Yeah, it was good. But it was his plan to have this kind of society, but he didn't count on, the rebels, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? They thought it would all, it would go quite swimmingly, but it didn't, and that's why Phoenix was rehabilitated, to basically kill Edgar Friendly. But we'll come on to that.
There was something else to note as well, that Phoenix was frozen before they started tagging people, basically.
Aye.
So they weren't able to track him the same way they could others.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, the Spartans kind of thawed out. He's adjusting to life pretty badly, mate. You know what I mean? He's learning about swearing fines, no touching, and all that sort of thing. There's the scene where he sees, is it Zach his name is, the black guy, and he goes over to him and he shakes his hand, and it's like, what's going on? And then they make comment as if oh, these two are different to us type thing. It's quite good that way. And then obviously they goes to want to use a toilet. You can't use a toilet because there's no toilet paper. And he goes, and the wee guy, what's his name again?
He's in other comedy movies, isn't he?
Rob Schneider. Is that who it is? Rob Schneider. I could be wrong there, mate, but he's in Home Alone too. He's the guy in Home Alone where he's the tip.
Oh, so he's the guy, the bellhop guy?
Aye.
I did recognise him.
Concierge or something like that, is that what you call him? I don't know. But anyway, he's laughing. He goes, he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. And no one knows how to use the 3 seashells. It remains a mystery.
I've got an idea.
Have you any ideas how? Because I've got some ideas, mate, how they're used.
I think you just use them as toilet paper, but it would be a wee bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah. You would just kind of scrape and all the feces off, mate. Aye. I can't say the word /s, mate, because I don't want to get a fine. You know what I mean?
I noticed a bit of a inconsistency. There was a point where Stallone, I always forget the character's name, when he swore outside and he didn't get fined, and it makes me wonder, do they only get fined when they're inside? Because otherwise, where would the slips of paper come from?
Yeah, so you can only get fined when there's a machine, mate, nearby, or in a building.
I thought I noticed that. Yeah.
No, because if it Simon Phoenix swears, at the machine, he was he's obviously he's hacking into it, all that, and getting all the information, and he swears twice. I know I'm going back here a wee bit, but I forgot to mention it. It's he's like, the police now have been informed, and they'll be there in in X amount of minutes, and he hears the sirens. He goes, "Fuckers are fast too," and he gets fined as well, mate. So that was hilarious, man. That was funny. Right, the only.
I was just going to say most of the best bits of humour were connected to the fines, I thought.
Aye, no. There's a lot of humour in the film, mate. A lot of humour.
I don't think it was overused, though. I think it was used like well, the whole fine system.
Aye. Go back to the three seashells, mate. Also, we had our thoughts on how they're used, mate. But there's also the theory of they're used like a wee kind of futuristic bidet. You know what I mean? You've got the water and the soap and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, mate, but I quite like the theory of you would just use them as you just you would just kind of clamp the jobby, mate, if you want to call it that, and then scrape all the stuff. You know what I mean? But there you go.
This would make a good YouTube short. And basically it's like their version of the fishing trip from Gavin and Stacey, isn't it? It's just one of those things you're not meant to know.
You lost me, mate. You're on mute. You're back on.
I did my usual. I accidentally pulled the wire.
You've lost me a fishing trip, mate. I don't know what that means. I've only seen Gavin and Stacey.
Gavin and Stacey. Have you not? Oh,
no.
Disappointing.
Nah.
That's disappointing.
So Spartan realises he's out because Simon Phoenix is back out. You know what I mean? And we get the first encounter between them both because he saves. Also, he thinks he saves. What's the guy's name again? Cocteau. And then he gets, he runs away from him and all that sort of stuff, and then Cocteau invites him to Taco Bell for some fine dining. No,
he doesn't.
No, he didn't. Not in the one you watched anyway, mate, did he?
No, it was confusing because when they were saying Pizza Hut, my captions were saying Taco Bell, and it did it more than once. It was doing it more than once, so I did actually look that up. It was something to do with Taco Bell wasn't known outside of the US at that point, so they switched it to Pizza Hut.
Pissed me off, mate, that, because I've got a DVD, mate, you know what I mean? I've always known it to be Taco Bell, and I watched it years ago, mate, on the telly, and see a film on the telly, mate, and you go, you channel hop, and I go, you know what, this is a film, I see a film I like, I'm watching it. It was at the start of the film day, and I watched it, and it said Pizza Hut, and I'm like, this is no what version I've got. But when you watch it, mate, and they're in Pizza Hut, they don't get served pizza, right, for one thing, and Taco Bell was never like that either. And Taco Bell's no fine dining, so there's a wee bit of satire there. And then you've got the decor around it is all purple, like Taco Bell. Even on the doors, mate, it's all Taco Bell, but they still reference Pizza Hut. You know what I mean, mate? So
I was a bit like, if I hadn't had the captions on, I wouldn't even have known this was an issue. Do you know what I mean?
I did wonder if you would notice that, mate. But you had the captions on, so
yeah. Was there any other differences in the versions we watched that you know of?
They've cut out quite a bit, mate. They've cut out there's some racial slurs that Simon Phoenix does as well in the films. Right. They cut out.
Well, I suppose that's understandable.
Aye, this day and age, mate. Aye, but I've got the DVD, mate, so I've got the full shebang, mate. You know what I mean? So, So, you go to Taco Bell, mate, or Pizza Hut. It's always Taco Bell, mate. And Spartan's dead confused, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's like, what's going on here? Like, how is this fine dining? Do you know what I mean, man?
I'm just confused, though, that the captions still say Taco Bell. Like, you would think they would have matched them up to what was actually being said in the version.
How did you watch it?
Now TV, of course.
Of course you did, mate. Aye.
They're one of my sponsors, along with
I don't know why I asked. I don't know, mate. Don't know why that is. But this is a bit where we see Edgar Friendly and his band of brothers kind of storm Taco Bell, mate. You know what I mean? And then Simon Phoenix, John Spartan comes out and he kind of saves the day again, kind of thing. But then realizing they're there just to kind of get food and stuff, and that's when you see John Spartan going, "No, hold on a minute here, like, these guys are, are just wanting to get fed, and they're getting treated like, second class citizens, sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Why is this happening? And in a place where it's meant to be peace and caring and all that sort of stuff. So it's not adding up for them.
Is there gangs called the Scraps, isn't it?
Scraps.
Yeah, that's what the gang's called. Happy. Mr. Friendly, or what his name is.
Edgar Friendly. We get to see their kind of their lair, underground lair shortly anyway. But Simon Phoenix. Well, we'll come on to that, mate. We'll come on to that. Simon Phoenix, mate. He's going for guns, mate, and then John Spartan kind of warns them, didn't he? They're going for going for guns. But before I go into that, mate, I want to touch on a wee scene, mate. That it's the scene where Huxley, invites John Spartan back to her docile, as she calls it.
I thought this was going to come up.
What was your take on that, mate?
It was certainly an interesting twist, although I should have predicted that it'd be something weird like that, because so many other things had been either outlawed or changed in a strange manner. It's a nice contrast, isn't it, between her, like, the life she's lived, the kind of sheltered life she's lived, and then the fact he remembers how things used to be. I suppose it's a wee bit like us and the younger generation now. Like, we talk about, like, the old PlayStation, the old games consoles, the old record players. Like, it's just showing those, like, different kind of eras, isn't it?
I know what you mean, mate. It's like, augmented reality sort of stuff, isn't it, man? It's but she asked him, do I come back with me? And he's going to say, aye, isn't he? He's going to say aye. And he's sitting down, he's kind of, smelling his breath and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, right, let's put your headset on. And he's like, all right, okay. And he's kind of, he's not realising at first, mate, that what's happening.
And then you wonder what he thought was happening, though.
Aye, well, he realised eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Because any kind of physical contact or fluid exchanges against the rules, which he does then break later on.
It's like, why don't we do it just old fashioned way? And he's like, fluid transfer, that's disgusting. But he goes on and says, like, he goes on about terms, that's used for sex and stuff like that, and she's like, no, can't do that, that's disgusting. And yeah, well, how do you procreate? And it's like, it's all taken to a lab and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's
you need so abortion's illegal, but you need a license to have a baby or something like that. You don't see a lot of children about in the film, do you?
No, actually, you don't. Never thought of that.
Yeah, that's probably why. And, like, not a lot of people are, like, probably have this, like, license that you need.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it makes sense, because he's been frozen for, I don't know how many years. How many years was it? Like 40?
30 or something. 30, 40 years. 96.
So, like, Sandra Bullock's character's probably grown up with the no, like, physical contact rules. So, like, it's not like she knew one thing, then it changed. It's just been that way for her whole life. It's funny when she's trying to, like take the rip out of somebody, and she just keeps mixing up the words.
Because Spartan has to keep on correcting her, didn't he?
Aye.
because she's read a lot of stuff about how things are not how they were. Sorry, and she just keeps getting it wrong. That's good. Go back to I didn't touch on it, the museum part, and you kind of touched on it earlier on, mate, as well. Regarding you tossed the guy into the glass and stuff. Oh, I didn't see you there, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
The bit in there, he's barting the glass down and he hurts himself and all that. He goes, you can't get into it. And the guy goes, "Hello, museum patron. What's your buckle?"
That was the other thing that you posted in. They asked the guy how much he weighs and then chucks him through the window.
Aye, exactly.
I liked the bit in the museum. It was cool seeing all these things that exist in our world that are now things of the past, and they're in a cinema, in a museum.
Aye.
And you've got like exhibits of people like fighting, and I mean, it'd be like having like a big recreation of like the Rangers Celtic crowd trouble, like in a museum or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Hope you weren't on the pitch.
No, I had left by that point, mate. I left as soon as Gassam missed his penalty. I was like, no way.
That's a good thing. That's a good time to leave, I suppose.
Aye. So, can we move on to the next act then, mate? We've got the Spartan investigates underground. He goes below the city to go and see Edgar Friendly, and we kind of see rebels and stuff like that, and we kind of see Edgar Friendly, and we hear his kind of backstory and all that sort of stuff, and I quite like Edgar Friendly. I think his the way he speaks, mate, it's quite eloquent. I think he's no wanting to be pretty much brainwashed by anything like that. Do you know what I mean? He's got my speech and all that. There's a big long quote he says, and I can't remember it word for word or anything like that. But he talks about if he wants to eat, this, he'll eat it and all that. He's not getting told what to do. But because he thinks differently and he does what he wants, he's treated differently, and because of that, he might starve to death. So, what is your take on that? Kind of the scene where he's introduced to Edgar Friendly in that?
Yeah, I like that. Like, because obviously he was hinted at earlier, wasn't he? As we said, like you see the graffiti can coming up. You see like a wee snapshot of them like huddled down below the ground, and there's another bit later on that links into what you were saying, where he basically says that they've got nothing to lose. Like they're starving down there, so they're not like afraid of going above ground and facing up against the likes of Phoenix, because the alternative is they stay where they are and starve to death. So I quite like that bit as well, and I think it was one of the things that made the film have that kind of deeper level, I suppose. If it had just been Phoenix versus Stallone, then I keep forgetting the character's name, Spartan. I should remember that. If it was just them against each other, it'd have been good. But I think having the kind of downtrodden represented and the impacts that the new order's having on the cities, I think definitely fleshes it out a bit more.
The interesting kind of thing he said as well, like, Spartan kind of thought he's the leader, but he said himself he's no leader. He's just the one who he goes up, he's hungry, he wants to get food, and it's not his fault people are following him. And because he's doing that, he's involuntary kind of becomes a leader in that way, and because he is the one doing that, he's the one that's targeted by Cocteau anyway. You know what I mean? So it was good. It was good seeing that they got to introduce them. You get a wee bit of a kind of backstory on him. But before that, the rat burger. He
keeps eating it as well, even when he finds it.
That's because how stubborn he is, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not getting into this here.
I thought he was just going to pretend and like spit it into a bin like you would in the real world, but he didn't.
I think that's him, being, I don't suppose, macho, isn't it? That he's like, well, I don't care,
Would you eat a rat burger? You could have made one, all the ones you had in your house that time.
Oh, I could have done. I just killed them and shoved them in a bin, mate.
Is that issue sorted now?
Aye, sorted, mate. I don't know. 8 or 9 of them I had, mate. It was a fucking pain in the arse. It was. There you go, swore, mate. I'll be fine again. But it's done now, mate. They're gone. Thankfully, they're coming back, mate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Would you eat the rat burger?
No, I wouldn't. Obviously, if I've ate, but I think he swallows one. He obviously bites it and he swallows it. Then I wouldn't be eating it again. Put it that way, mate. You know what I mean? But
because you don't find out it's a rat burger in English, though. Does it not say in like I can't remember what language it is, but it's said in another language, isn't it?
I think it's Spanish. But it was aye. But it's Huxley. It says, "I don't see any cows in here, do you?" Mm-hmm. And then it's a rat burger. You go, it's nice. As he's stuck doing a beer.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously down in the underground kind of scene anyway, that's where we get Simon Phoenix. He's there to hunt down Friendly, and it's kind of his mission, you know what I mean? And he goes, "Oh, two for the price of one." He goes, "I must have done something good in my previous life. I can't imagine that would have been."
There's another quote. There's another quote that just came to mind was see when they're singing to the Armored Hot Dogs song, he's like, "Put me back in the fridge."
Aye, put me back in the fridge. That was good.
Yeah. I'm actually remembering this movie better than I thought I would, considering like I've only watched it once.
Aye. But Phoenix does want like folk, unfrozen. He's kind of he's don't know his army, if you want to say. And one of the army's Jesse Ventura, the ex-pro wrestler. He's in quite a lot of films today, mate. He's in Predator as well. I don't know if you remember him, mate, but he's in Predator as well. But he's one of the people that he gets unfrozen to kind of help him with his kind of takedown of Friendly.
Do you think Friendly's? He's got such a great character name. I think they're all good character names in this. Well, we haven't mentioned Phoenix's catchphrase when he does like the Simon Says.
Aye. Simon says, "Play ball."
Simon says, "Die." I wonder if
they mentioned the guy.
What came first? The Simon Says game you played as a kid, or the Simon Says from this movie? Did he invent it, or was it around before then?
I'd say before then.
I doubt the kids' game came from this movie.
No. There's also the bit in Die Hard 3, mate. Die Hard with a Vengeance. We've got Simon, who's Hans Gruber's brother, is on the phone. And he talks, he always says Simon Says, and he's saying, "You've seen Die Hard 3, haven't you?"
I've seen Die Hard 1 and 2. I've not seen 3.
Oh, for God's sake, right, okay. Yeah, but we
did review 1 and 2, though.
Right, okay. But as I say, so Simon, Hans Gruber's brother in Die Hard 3 was called Simon, and he's got bombs left, right, and centre in New York, and he always says Simon Says, and he's giving them riddles and stuff like that to do. So, so the kids' game came first, mate.
Was he not in the second one as well? Because it kind of rings a bell.
Oh, Die Hard 2, mate, is it's the Colonel guy. Is the
don't know. It sounded familiar. Maybe I did watch the third one and just forgot.
The third one's with Samuel L. Jackson. No, you would know, mate. You would know.
Couldn't tell you.
But the second one's got it's the Colonel Grant. Is it his name? I can't remember now. Else has seen it. It's in Dallas in Washington. I'm sure it is. But anyway, we find out the secret plan. It's basically he's programmed Phoenix to eliminate all the rebels, and he can't kill Cocteau because it's against the system. So Simon can't kill him. But that's what I think it's Jesse Ventura that actually kills him. Could be wrong there, mate. But so he basically goes rogue.
There's the other guy, the big guy. He's like, I can't remember what his job title is, but he just like jumps from one side to the other. You know, the bigger lad.
I don't know.
He's like the sidekick guy. He's like the
the guy that's in Beetlejuice.
The guy that introduces himself all the time, like every time people meet him.
The guy that's in Beetlejuice. Aye, that's right. He was the kind of the kimono, didn't he?
He just kept jumping from one team to the other whenever the opportunity arose.
Aye. Can I get into the final scene now, mate? As well, we've got the he basically gets Cocteau. He dies now because Simon says somebody to kill him because he couldn't do it. Spartan chases Phoenix to the cryo facility, and we get the kind of the final fight. When all this is going on as well, he basically uses the the rod to neutralize Huxley because he doesn't want her to go along because she'll die.
Although she showed some good fighting prowess in one of the earlier fight scenes.
Done in the underground. She did. It was barely, mate, but it was just too risky. So he had to render her unconscious, mate, for her own survival. But there's the car chase scene's good, mate, isn't it, as well, before we get to the cryo facility. When you get the old kind of the red kind of old car, I can't remember the name of the motor now, man, but they chase Simon Phoenix down the motorway or the freeway.
The self-driving car stops working though, doesn't it? Another piece of tech came to mind. We're talking about futuristic tech. There was like a early predictor of like the Zoom call meetings. You know, like when he was just having a meeting, but it was all just the computer monitors around the table.
Aye,
that was a bit of foreshadowing for the Zoom calls.
There's a bit where all kind of he was talking to I can't remember the guy's name now, but the guy switches sides all the time. He was talking to him, and all the kind of the screens kind of moved towards the conversation. And he turned around to them all, and they all turned back as if like they were all eavesdropping into the conversation. It was good.
I think that scene shows how powerful he is. That he's the only one you see in person, and then they're all just like monitors, and you can't really see their face.
Yeah, 100%, mate. What was your take on the last scene then? Well, the kind of second last scene then, if you want to call it that. It's the fight scene with the in the cryo facility when he gets frozen.
Well, I thought it was obvious that he was going to win. Like I didn't see a scenario where Phoenix like came out on top here. It was good when he froze him, but I didn't really expect. Although I should have realized it from the earlier foreshadowing, I didn't expect his head to come off the way it did. And at first I thought it was just going to like the head would freeze and it would like land on the ground, but then when it smashed, then obviously that was him out of the game completely.
Aye. It reminded me a wee bit of Terminator 2 as well. When he froze the Terminator with the liquid nitrogen. As well.
It'd be interesting to watch this movie with someone who's like a scientist, because like it's just amazing how much destruction like is caused in the first scene. You know, with the what is it? Is it just like petrol or something? Puts
The
up.
gasoline and first scene, I bet. Well,
There's a bit of foreshadowing, though, isn't there, where like the movie starts and ends with like a big explosion and a building
yes,
going down, doesn't it?
it's a mirror of that, isn't it? Because it's that explosion, and he's again the difference is the first scene he's carrying Simon Phoenix out because he wants him to kind of pay for his crimes, and he's carrying him on his back or his shoulder, kind of fireman's carry. This time he leaves him in there. Obviously, he's dead now with his head getting frozen off with the cheesy line, heads up, kicks his head, and then he runs out himself. He runs out the building himself this time. But I think it's pretty cool, mate, in terms of all the kind of the CGI, like with the ice covering the full room, even on the crane as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? He had to jump off the crane to make sure that he didn't get hurt himself. Do you know what I mean?
He was like caught in the crane, wasn't he? Then he managed to escape.
Aye. So it was good that way, mate. I did enjoy that. And then we get the kind of the stuff that happens at the end of these films all the time. You know what I mean? The new surface, the new society on the surface, I should say. And then we've got I can't remember his name now. I need to go back to the top. Let me see. It's Garcia though. He's basically Benjamin Bratt. He's basically, endeared himself to Edgar Friendly, swearing and all that sort of stuff. He's kind of part of the rebels now. Our new society has to be built, essentially. And that's where you get John Spartan kissing Huxley. And
there was a bit of uncertainty on one of the sides, wasn't there, about how they would be able to live without the structure they had before. And he's basically like, we'll make it work one way or another.
We work it out because the balance between freedom and order now, do you know what I mean? It's is better now, isn't it? So and pretty much, he kisses her, then she kisses him, isn't it? And it kind of ends that way. So, and that's Demolition Man. That's the end of that.
Paul to add some kind of explosion effect in at the end of the episode and just go. Whoa.
Aye. So it was a good wee film, mate. So, anything you want to add before we give our scores? Is there anything I've missed? Is it to you?
I don't think so. I'll just have a quick wee skim in case there was.
I mean, like, I don't know.
I did screenshot a couple of quotes. There was a bit about we're police officers, we're not trained to handle this kind of violence. I like that scene when they've obviously never dealt with a criminal before and they're getting like he's like, tell him to lie down. I thought that was quite funny.
It's like the maniac has responded in a horrible retort. And he goes like, this time repeat the instruction and then say or else, and then that's when he doesn't like that kind of ultimatum.
There's another phrase that I would quite like to use at work. It's enhance your cam.
Aye, I don't have that.
I don't imagine you would. Also, the bit about the bodily fluids, and it said like what it leads to, and it said kids smoking, a desire to raid the fridge. I can definitely agree with the last one. It definitely does make you want to raid the fridge. Yeah, the bit that was another scene I thought was pretty funny was the the bit with the police officers, as we were saying, when they're getting told what to do. I've got a list of all the things that are illegal, by the way.
All right, go for it.
Alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, meat, bad language, chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys, and anything spicy. So,
Can you imagine living in that? Well, you'd probably like it, mate, to be honest with you.
maybe in some ways, yeah.
Do you like spicy food?
I do actually like. Well, I don't like things that are like too spicy, but I do enjoy a curry, and I do enjoy Mexican food as well.
Alright.
But nothing that's like, when you get something that's like proper spicy.
Aye.
Like I had I think it was it was pasta. You know that pasta you get that's really, really spicy. I had it once, right, and I honestly went through like 10 glasses of water in a restaurant once. Unreal. A penny arrabbiata.
What? Chicken arrabbiata?
No, penny arrabbiata or something like that. I had pasta in a restaurant once, and it was like proper spicy, and that was unreal.
Aye, I like spicy food myself, mate.
Definitely ups your water intake though when you're having spicy food. See the amount of water I drink when I'm having a Chinese bit.
Do you expect a change of spicy?
I just it depends what you buy, I suppose.
I suppose it does, mate. I thought spicy food was good for you anyway, mate. I thought spicy food was good for you, mate. All the kind of spices in it.
It's good for your what's it called? Your colon, is it?
Gut health or something like that, innit? All that sort of stuff.
Anyway, we're not experts on these things.
Nah, I'm sure there'll be podcasts out there who will tell you otherwise.
That's
right, okay then, mate.
I think.
If you've got nothing else to say, mate, on the film, we'll go with a score. I'm going to let you go first, mate, because I've got a wee surprise for you.
Surprise? Okay, so this is the bit where we give movies a score out of 10. So when I first watched it, I mean, I watched like probably like the first half of it. I think I was actually at that point where like, where does James and Paul keep getting these weird films from like the 90s and 80s that are just like pure weird? And I was like, I think it took me a while to get the tone of the film, because it can be pretty like nonsense at times, but then at times I felt like it didn't quite mesh up with like other aspects of the story. Like, how are you supposed to take Phoenix seriously as a villain when he's as daft as he is? But when I kind of watched the film enough to get the vibe they were going for, I was able to appreciate him and the other characters for what they were. And what I would give it, I'll probably go a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't say it's like a movie that's like an 8, 9, or a 10 for me, but I certainly enjoyed the world building and the humor enough that it was an enjoyable experience, and I've enjoyed talking about a lot of the quotes and characters with you, and I think it's one that I can understand why you rewatch as well. So yeah, I think I'll go 7. It's not quite up there as like an 8 out of 10 movie for me, but it's a pretty solid 7 that I enjoyed, and I can see why people like to watch it.
Fair enough, mate. It's actually higher than I thought you'd give it, mate.
I don't know this is right. Well, when I first started watching it, I was like, I'm going to have to tell James this is like a 4 or something. But when you got into the bits where it was like giving like the fines and the humor was starting to kind of come out, and they were revealing more about the world and the past and the laws. I got more invested in it as I went along.
Well, I'm glad you didn't give it a 4, mate, because if you did give it a 4, I would be submitting a transfer request, mate, because that would be unacceptable. Right, so Paul's been in touch.
All right.
Our
Has
own
he been in touch with
PK.
me as well, or just you?
Just me, mate. Just me.
Just you? What did I do?
Well, he sent me a TikTok, mate. So at the same time, I went, you know what? I'm going to go and ask him what his thoughts are on the film because I know he wanted to be here tonight and he couldn't be. So his opinion is, as usual, watched this when I was way too young on TV with my dad. A classic action, over-the-top explosions, cheesy and epic one-liners galore. The contrast between the future city and the rats underneath was always cool. Taco Bell will never be that fancy. Always gives me the shits, and I don't and I don't get the 3 seashells.
I don't think we need to get that bit about his bowel movements.
Well, we're keeping it in. So I said to him about the whole Pizza Hut thing, right? I was like, he goes, that's weird. I never knew that. So he's always known it as Taco Bell. But all I found out, because I watched it on TV, mate, do you know what I mean? And one of my mates, one of my best mates, says we always have a conversation about Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and that. So he's never known that to be the case. So I said to him, what would you give it out of 10? And he said he's going to give it. Well, guess, what do you think he gave it out of 10? PK.
8.
He did. 8 out of 10 he gave it. And that's my score as well, 8 out of 10.
But for context, I obviously just watched it, whereas you've watched it multiple times probably over the years, so there's a bit of context to that as well.
No, I'm not disagreeing with your score, mate, at all. I mean, obviously, this is a film that I've seen for, like you say, rewatched it, mate. So it's not a slight in you getting 7 out of 10, mate. You're your own man, your own opinions, mate. Do you know what I mean? So I'm hoping, obviously, that talking with the film with me has made you enjoy it more, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So,
well, the way I watch films isn't a great way because I generally just struggle to find the time and the energy, and I tend to watch like an hour, then half an hour, then half an hour, and then I normally rewatch the last half hour because I usually fall asleep because I'm tired.
aye.
Maybe it'll get easier.
For me, like the explosions and stuff like that, I think, for me, Simon Phoenix was the best in this, mate. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just the way he conducts himself. He's just a psychopath, mate. But he's the way he actually acts in this as well. Wesley Snipes is brilliant in this, mate. The future building, it was good as well. Like Paul says regarding the contrast between the sewers and the world above was good. The humour in terms of how not just Simon Phoenix but even John Spartan as well, and humour in terms of the fines, the swearing, and what is illegal, what's legal, what's illegal. Yeah, it's just a fun movie, mate. I enjoyed it, and we'll continue to enjoy it. So, an 8 out of 10 for me, mate, as well.
Could you see Phoenix being a DC villain? He gives off that kind of edge, doesn't he?
Aye, he could definitely be.
Chaos.
But he's a Marvel hero, isn't he? He's obviously Blade. Wesley Snipes. So
I got cancelled in the reboot.
Did it?
I think it is.
Was it Wesley Snipes who's in it? Aye.
I think so.
Because I knew he was in prison, mate.
Should it
for a while.
get cancelled?
It's a shame.
Was he frozen or?
Because he was obviously in Deadpool and Wolverine, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
I did not know that was the same person. There you go.
Right.
Because I'm like Paul with these actors. I see them when they're young, and then suddenly see them when they're old, and I'm just like not computing the same person.
Well, that's A decent score, mate. I'm quite glad. So you enjoyed it to get a 7, mate. So that's good. I was,
I struggled a wee bit at the start, but I think it's quite a random film to just drop into with no context, isn't it? Like in 2026.
aye.
So I
Suppose
think
that's my fault, mate. I just clocked the film, mate, and I thought I'm going to do this one, and then it had no relevance to the films we were doing, mate, in terms of the kind of war films we were doing, mate. So I just thought I'm going to go a different direction here.
Yeah. Well, it's technically Paul's pick next because I picked Nuremberg, which was our last one.
Aye.
I know he did mention War Machine. I don't know if he wants to stick with that or go somewhere else.
Did you watch War Machine?
Majority of it, but
Well,
we kept we kept like changing what movie we were doing, so I didn't like fully commit to it.
Yeah,
We then switched back to this one. So
yeah, it's because I was busy, mate, and you didn't do the pod, man. So,
we'll let Paul decide whether that's the one we do or whether we want to do something else.
fair dues, mate. So I was just going to say, mate, it kind of leads into the next kind of last part of the pod episode then about what you've been watching. So take it away, mate.
Well, as I mentioned, I think I don't think I did mention it on the last podcast, but I'm famous for going really slow through TV shows, not because I don't enjoy them, just because of a family setup and lack of time. But Dexter came up that it was coming off Netflix at the end of March, so I was like, oh my god! I started crunching the numbers. I was like, right, if I watch a season per week, up to then I should be fine. And I've been doing okay. I'm almost in episode 6 of season 7. So if I get season 7 done by like Monday, I've still got a week to watch season 8. So, and then you've told me I've got 3 spin-offs to watch as well. So my journey's not quite finished. So I've been watching Dexter, got a couple of weekly shows on the go. I've been watching Shrinking season 3, pretty small show. Enjoying that again. I know you joke about it, but I really hope you do watch it one day because it's a truly beautiful show. And I've been watching the Scrubs reboot. Watched the first 4 episodes of that. It is a bit weird watching it like once a week though, but I've been enjoying that so far. There's also another new show out because the guy that creates Ted Lasso created Shrinking, who also creates Scrubs. It's Bill Lawrence. I was about to say Tom Lawrence. I was
going to say Tom Lawrence as well, mate. Aye.
So Bill Lawrence is the creator of Scrubs, Ted Lasso, Shrinking. It's a pretty good batting average he's got. But there's a new show and it's Steve Carell's the lead, and it's called, is it Rooster? It's on Now TV. I've been watching that. I watched the first episode of that as well. And I watched last weekend, I watched the documentary about the Rupert Murdoch's family and because I didn't realize this, but Rupert Murdoch's family and his kids and the kind of legal battle for succession was what inspired the TV show Succession.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah,
I didn't know that. So it was really quite interesting. So yeah, I've been watching that if you get a chance, if it's something you're interested in. And in terms of books, I'm only mentioning this because you're here, but I've started reading a book called Eruption, which is all about the eruption of a long dormant volcano on Hawaii. And one of the authors is Michael Crichton, that's how you pronounce it, the author of the Jurassic Park book.
Aye.
But he wrote this book, he's dead now, but he wrote this, must have been obviously before he died. But he wrote it with James Patterson, your namesake.
Yeah, he spells his name with 2 T's though, doesn't he?
Yeah. So James Patterson, and the book's called Eruption. I've read the first few chapters, and it's so it seems like it'll be quite good. It's got a good write-up anyway. So, and I was reading a book about corruption in football. It was called States of Play, and it's all about the state ownership of like PSG and Man City and stuff.
I was going to ask you who the authors are. Is it the SFA and Peter Lowell? No.
I was enjoying it, but I'm finding it quite heavy. There's chapters where it's mostly about football, then there's chapters where it's just like name dropping all these people and all these companies linked into Man City and things like that. And it's like I might actually just get the audiobook and listen to it because it's quite a like tough read. Like there's a lot of numbers, a lot of names. It doesn't flow very well. There's a chapter that's like over an hour long to read because the Kindle tells you your kind of how long it takes to read. So I've kind of abandoned that at the moment for Eruption, but I might go back to it. So Dexter's my main one, plus some kind of weekly shows. And then once Dexter's done, I'll have a think about what I want to watch next. What about yourself?
Just going to say, mate, before I tell you what I've been watching, it'd be funny, mate, if you got to the last season of Dexter, mate, and then it just came off Netflix.
Well, do you know what I've done?
It'd be early or something like that.
I've actually put the date that it comes off in my calendar on my phone. I've called it the Dexter deadline.
I'm sure you'll make it, mate.
This is a new experience for me. I've never had to like watch a show against the clock before.
But for me, mate, I watched War Machine.
Mm-hmm.
A good film, mate. I know you've not seen it yet, but all of it yet.
I've seen most of it.
So I did enjoy it. Demolition Man, obviously, for the podcast episode today. I mean, funny you mentioned Michael Crichton, mate, because I haven't been watching Jurassic Park. I've actually started watching ER on Netflix.
He created that, yeah.
He created that, mate. Aye,
because it says in the start of a book, it tells you like a bit about the person's life. It actually mentioned at the start in the introduction that he created that show. So
we came on like the telly, mate, or on Netflix. I was watching it. I was like, Michael Crichton. You see the guy? It's the same guy. I googled it, mate, and then it was. Aye, so there you are. Me, Michael Crichton crossover there, buddy.
Crichtonverse.
What else? I feel like there's something else. Oh, I started to watch The Untouchables as well. I've seen it before, obviously, because it's me. But it's a long film, mate, so I'm going to go back and watch it. It's a good film, mate. It's Al Capone. Decent film. Kevin Costner's the FBI as well, isn't it? Sean Connery. And books-wise, I've no time for books, mate, but what I did listen to on the back of Craig Favorite Scripts recommendation, I forgot to say it is Big Duncan Ferguson audiobook.
Yeah, I've had that on a watch list before. I've not read it yet though.
It's good, mate. It's really good. Really good. And that's it, mate. That's all for the
totally random, but I went down a pure rabbit hole and started watching these like Rangers season reviews on YouTube. And it was like the season with Walter Smith's team that had like Novo was still there, Boyd, and just watching all the goals again was brilliant. Also, this is another just totally random one. Do you remember the Rangers Celtic derby that Arteta scored in when Rab Douglas like pammed it into the net?
Aye.
The 3-3. I don't know how I found this, but the full 90 minutes of that game is on YouTube. I watched like 45 minutes of that game one night. It was just brilliant watching like some of the legends play.
You see the Novo one you're talking about with Boyd, is that the same year we went to Manchester? 08?
No, it's the season after that. It's when Kenny Miller came back and scored twice at Parkhead, if you remember the one.
Miller came back after that
I know everyone will always have their things with him, but some of his finishes that season were incredible. The
problem with Kenny Miller, mate, was he was like Cyril Dessers. Or Dessers was like him, I should have said. It was like he would always struggle with the easy ones, you know what I mean, and the hard ones he'd finish.
Some of his goals are incredible that season though.
Anyway.
Totally random, but I went down a pure rabbit hole on YouTube watching football highlights from years and years ago.
Good man. You should be watching Dexter instead, mate. You've been on YouTube.
I don't really like to watch Dexter when there's kids about.
That's
for
fair dues.
obvious reasons.
Yeah. Right, we'll leave it there then, buddy. So thanks for listening, people. If you've gotten this far, we do appreciate you. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like on Spotify as well. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and other social media platforms. And of course, I've mentioned Spotify there on YouTube, but you can also get us on other audibles too.
And we're only one off 160 subs on YouTube, so
260.
aye, even better.
There you go. 260 subs
The
on
best
YouTube.
part
So-
of what you're watching at the end is you can just talk nonsense for a wee bit longer, and it doesn't really matter too much.
It always matters. Always
No,
matters.
because if people have made it this far, then the joke's on them already, isn't it?
What a way to get subscribers. The joke's on you. There you go. Right, mate. We'll call it a day there. I'm James. I put an essay on it. Paul has watched things in the wrong order. And Colin.
Seismic
I've watched it now.
chaos,